Yes, beta. We were talking about the fourth caliph. What was his name?
Ali.
Ali. Now, who Ali had to fight with whose army? Tell me. Ali, that is the fourth caliph, had to fight with somebody. He had a war with someone. Who fought with Ali?
The one who
Muhammad's wife,
Muhammad's wife. What was her name?
Aisha.
Aisha. Can you guess why Aisha fought with the fourth caliph only? Why did she not fight immediately when Prophet died? She should have actually fought with the first caliph, na? Isn't it? As soon as we had the death of Prophet Muhammad, there should have been fight for power between the first caliph and Muhammad's wife, Aisha. Why did this fight be was with the fourth caliph only? What was Aisha doing all these years?
man gathering of forces.
Beta, actually, Aisha was only 14 years when she got married to Prophet Muhammad. She was considered, she was the fourth wife of Prophet Muhammad. So when Aisha got married to Prophet Muhammad, she was only 14 years. Very young. Not even 14 completed. It is believed 13 years something. So she was so young that when he died, she could not understand or manage anything. So by the time she turned into 20s, she tried to gain her power. She understood, people started taking her seriously. And then she tried and gained her army on her own, and then she fought. This was the reason we need to understand why. Although at the death of Prophet Muhammad, there should have dispute between the wife of Prophet Muhammad for power and the first caliph. But this did not take place. Aisha did not revolt. First caliph ruled, second caliph ruled, third caliph ruled. Aisha comes into the picture only when which caliph comes?
Fourth.
So you understood the reason why she stood up so late? She was only 14 years when she got married to Prophet Muhammad. She was the last and the fourth wife of Prophet Muhammad. Okay. Do you have any idea about the earlier wives of Prophet Muhammad? Have you read a little bit about it?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we've just read about the last wife of Prophet Muhammad. What was her name?
Aisha.
Aisha.
Aisha. Okay, and she fought with which caliph?
Ma'am, the fourth caliph.
The fourth caliph. Okay. When we go and study a little bit about Prophet Muhammad, so you will get to know. If you go and study about personal life of Prophet Muhammad, we said that he was a businessman. His first marriage, he first married at the age of 25. His first wife was Khadija. His first wife name was Khadija. She was 40
Khadija.
years old and she was a widow. She was how many years old, the first wife? 40 years. Prophet Muhammad, his own age was 25 years. His first wife was Khadija and she was a widow. And she was how many years?
40.
Yes.
40.
Very good. So after this, she died after about 25 years. Of course, they were married and then she died. And then what he did is that after the death of his first wife, that is Khadija, Prophet Muhammad in his life married total 12 women in the remaining years of his life. That means he had how many wives?
13.
How many wives he had?
13.
Okay, he had 13 wives. Although he had children only from two wives, one was Khadija and the second was Mari. The other 11, he did not have any children. He had children only from sons and daughters only from two of his wives. One was Khadija and the second was Maria. Okay, what was the name of the ladies?
Khadija and Maria.
Khadija and Maria.
Yes, very good. It is also believed that Prophet Muhammad married a girl when she was only 6 years old, and finally the official marriage was declared and the girl was sent to Prophet's house when she was 9 years old only. Okay, the youngest wife that he had, he married the girl when she was only 6 years old, and then she was sent to Prophet's house after 3 years, that is after 9 years. Muhammad. So we know about this. He was a young man of 25 years. He married his first wife. What was the name of the first wife?
Khadija.
Yes. She was about 15 years elder to this Prophet Muhammad, and she was twice a widow. It was her third marriage. She had become widow twice earlier before marrying Prophet Muhammad also. So Khadija's, it was third marriage, and Prophet Muhammad, it was the first marriage. She was 15 years older. So 25 years, of course, they remained married, and after that he married how many more women in his life?
12.
Yes.
12.
Very good, very good. So we should know this, and it is also believed that he married one of his daughter-in-laws also. Okay, Zainab. Her name was?
Zainab.
Zainab.
Yes. She took divorce from her husband. Her husband means Prophet Muhammad's son. So the daughter-in-law, she took a divorce from the son, and after she took a divorce from the son, Prophet Muhammad, after they have some period after the divorce where they can remarry, some rituals of course to be done. After that, Prophet Muhammad married one of his daughter-in-laws also. So she is also one of those 13 wives that I just talked about. So out of these 13 wives, one of them was a daughter-in-law, and one of them, the youngest wife, was that 6-year-old girl, which I told you, which the girl was brought to his household when she was only how many years old?
9.
Yes. So this is a little about Aisha. We know about it. So Aisha is one of how many wives of Prophet Muhammad?
13.
13
13.
wives. Yes. And we also know that why she came up so late and she fought. You must be feeling 14 years is a very young age. So I also talked about the youngest wife that he had. He married her when she was only how many years old?
6.
Okay. Now we are going to see what is going to happen now. Ali is fighting with the fourth wife of Muhammad, that is Aisha, in the Battle of the Camel. That battle is known as Battle of
Camel.
Camel.
Basically, beta, the area is a desert area. The fight and the battle is mostly on camels, so commonly called as the Battle of Camels. He was, however, not able to suppress the faction led by Muawiyah, a kinsman of Uthman and the governor of Syria. So, what happened in this war now? He was not able to suppress. Suppress means what? Suppress means
Tone
to
down
defeat.
or get under.
Very good. He was not able to defeat the other party. Although he was fighting with this lady, Aisha, she was not in the war field. Her part was being led by who? Muawiyah. Okay. He is a kinsman of Uthman. He was a cousin of Uthman only. Who was this person? Muawiyah. He was a cousin of whom?
Usman.
Uthman. And who was Uthman, children?
Ma'am, the third caliph.
Yes, the third caliph. Very good. So Aisha's army is being led by this person. He is third caliph's cousin. He was also the governor of Syria. This was his first battle, Ali. Ali's second battle, was somewhere in the Mesopotamia. This ended in truce which split his followers into two groups. After his second battle, all the people who followed this caliph split into two groups. There were some who remained loyal to Caliph Ali, and there were others who left Ali's camp, and they came to be known as the Kharjis. Those who left this person, Ali, they did not go with him anymore now. They left him, the fourth Caliph Ali, and they were called as what now?
Kharjis.
Kharjis.
And same thing happened with Ali. What happened with the third Caliph? Ali was also assassinated by a Kharji only. And he was assassinated in a mosque at Kufa. Now, who were the Kharjis? The people who left Ali, who did not believe in Ali, a separate group known as Kharjis. So who killed or who assassinated the last caliph?
Ma'am, the Kharjis.
Kharji.
And he was killed at what place, beta?
Mosque.
Mosque in Kufa. At Kufa.
Very good. So we had the fourth caliph also. He has also died. All his followers paid allegiance to his son Hussein. They said, okay, now let us select the next leader. And the next leader they selected was Ali's son, that is Hussein, and then his descendants, Hussein's son and grandson, and so on. So now the succession has become like this. No caliphs are being selected anymore now. So there were only four caliphs. Muawiyah made himself the next caliph in 661, founding the Umayyad dynasty, which lasted till 750. So one side we have this, that at the death of the fourth caliph, his son Hussein is ruling. On the other side, those people who left this person, Ali, they formed another dynasty which is known as the Umayyad dynasty. What is this dynasty called?
Umayyad dynasty.
And there, this person, Muawiyah, who fought with Ali, he called himself as the next caliph of that dynasty. Here we have Ali's son Hussein ruling in one of the groups of Muslims. And second side, we have another dynasty under the leadership of Muawiyah and under the guidance of the fourth wife, the wife that is Aisha. We had this dynasty. And who became the caliph over there? The one who led the army in the first war of camels?
Ma'am, Muawiyah.
Umayyah.
Very good, very good. After the civil wars, it appeared as if Arab domination would disintegrate. There were so many fights, it appeared that now Arabs would not remain powerful anymore. There were signs that the tribal conquerors were adopting the sophisticated culture of their subjects. It was believed that these tribal people, the tribal conquerors, now they're learning, they're becoming sophisticated, they're learning the culture of the people. It was under the Umayyads that a prosperous clan of the Quraysh tribe, that a second round of consolidation took place. Now this dynasty is continuing, Umayyad dynasty, and we have Quraysh tribe. You remember the rich business tribe, that is known as which tribe?
Quraysh.
Quraysh.
So these Quraysh tribe is becoming more and more powerful, more and more prosperous, again under this clan. Which one we're talking about? Which kingdom is this?
Umayyads.
Umayyads.
Umayyad.
So remember, in Umayyads, we are going to have a domination of which tribe?
Quraysh.
Quraysh.
Quraysh tribe. Okay. Can you tell me something more about Prophet Muhammad or anything else, just to give you a 2 minutes break in this chapter? Anyone? Since we are talking about Islam, founder of Islam we know is Prophet. Who is the founder of Islam?
Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, he's Prophet Muhammad. So when we are studying about this chapter, we are learning how Islam is spreading and how it is passing on. Okay. His name was, the full name of Prophet Muhammad was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Though you may not learn all this, but this is just some extra thing you should know. Prophet Muhammad's initial name was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He was an Arab beta. Okay, he was an Arabian person. And he founded this religion, which is known as what?
Ma'am, Islam.
Very good. He had many children. One of his favorite daughters was Fatima. It is believed that his favorite daughter was Fatima. Then he had sons. He had sons like Riyabin. There were so many. Okay. So we know that he is believed to be messenger of
Allah.
Allah.
and that is why he is called as
Prophet.
Prophet.
yes, he's called as the prophet. Very good. He's known as the prophet now. Where was he born? He was born in Mecca, Arabia. Now in Saudi Arabia, the places where was he born?
Mecca.
Mecca.
Yes, beta. We don't exactly know what date he was born, but we know that he died on 8th June. Okay, we just know that he died on
8th
which
June.
8th June, and he died in Medina. So he was born in Mecca, but he died where?
Medina.
Medina.
Yesterday we had discussed that he was forced to leave Mecca. because the people over there did not allow the spread of a new religion over there. And all his preachings that he gave are compiled in a book which we know as, which is known as the Quran, Holy Quran. What do you call that?
Holy Quran.
Yes, beta, just a quick revision of this paragraph, very quick reading, and then we'll discuss the answers. Read quickly, we can discuss a little, and then we'll talk about the Umayyads. Great, beta. Anushri? Acha. Snehal and Anjali. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine,
Yes,
bache.
ma'am.
Let's continue. Umayyads. We'll read about the Umayyads now. You remember the Umayyads? Let's read very quickly about the Umayyads. Read, I'll help you out. Yes, Peter. Should we start now? The Umayyads.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
caliphate. See, Peter. Now there were so many territories which were destroyed by this caliphate. Second caliph or third caliph. So many conquests were there, and they were destroyed by these conquests. The Umayyads implemented a series of political measures which consolidated the leadership with the Ummah. Now, these Umayyads, they have making strategies, they have made plans so that they can become leaders, and all the people who follow them, the Ummas, can be with them only. The first Umayyad Caliph, Muawiyah, we did about this person. This was the first Umayyad Caliph. Normal Muslim Caliph was, which was the first one?
Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr.
Yes. But now we have a separate group, that wife Aisha wala, separate. So they have a different caliph, that is Muawiyah. He was the first caliph of the Umayyads. Beta. He adopted the court ceremonies and administrative institutions of the Byzantine Empire. He mostly followed all the original system which was being followed in which empire?
Byzantine.
Byzantine Empire. He had learned a lesson that after the death of Muhammad, because Muhammad did not declare anyone as his successor, that is why there were so many fights and conflicts. So he was a very wise man. He said, let us have a system of succession, heredity. And he persuaded all the leading Muslims to accept his son as his heir. So once he became the first caliph, he said, let's have a hereditary system. So who will become the next caliph according to Muawiyah?
His son.
Yes, his son. And this innovations continued and continued. And these people, that is the Umayyads, they retained in power for how many years?
90.
90 years. How many years? 90 years.
90.
Very good. The Umayyad state was now an imperial power. It has become very powerful. It is not anymore based on Islam, but it is more on statecraft. Statecraft means political, making more and more power and more money. It is no more a religious strategy now, no longer Islamic. There were Christian advisors in the administration. See now how the world has changed. Now they are more of statecraft, more of politics, more of money. So much so that they have left Islam religion behind, and their advisors were, some of them were which religion?
Islam.
Christian.
Christians, beta. And even the Zoroastrian and the bureaucrats and the officers and the scribes were Zoroastrians. So it is not only that the Muslim tradition is going to continue now. However, Islam continued to provide legitimacy to the rule. The Umayyads always appealed for unity and suppressed rebellions in the name of Islam. They used to always rule in the name of Islam only. They retained their social identity that yes, they were Arabs. However, they were taking work from Christians also, Zoroastrians also, but they always fought in the name of Islam only. When this person was ruling, he's one of the successors of the first caliph, Abd al-Malik, okay, and his successors. Both the Arab and the Islamic identities were strongly emphasized. Every Muslim was told to be proud of his identity, that yes, you are a Muslim. Among the measures Abdul Malik took were the adoption of Arabic as a language of administration and Islamic coinage. He wanted to establish the area as an Islamic state. So tell me, which two things did he do?
Arabic as the official language of administration and the introduction of Islamic coins.
Very good. He actually wanted what? He wanted the Islam religion to continue, and he wanted the people who followed Islam religion to be proud of it. That is the reason he basically selected these two strategies. That let's have an Islamic coinage. What is Islamic coinage?
Coins made with seals representing Islam culture.
Exactly. Okay, with their own language written on them, and those coins which represented the Islamic culture. These were the two ways he adopted basically to emphasize and show that the state religion was what? Which religion was the state religion? What did he want to show?
Islamic.
Although they had Christian officers, Zoroastrians working for them, whatever, but a very clear message, a very clear picture that the state religion is what? It is Islamic. Okay. The gold dinar and the silver dirham that had been circulating in the caliphate were copies of the Byzantine and Iranian coins with symbols of crosses and fire altars, and Greek and Palvi, that is the language of Iran, inscriptions. So we had these things. There were gold coins which were known as?
Dinar.
Yes. And the silver
Islamic
coins were known as?
coins.
Yes, the
Dirham.
silver coins were known as dirhams. These symbols were removed and the coins now carried the Arabic inscriptions. Earlier, the coins that we had, they had different things, beta. They had Greek culture on them, or they had Iranian symbols on them. So these coins, these symbols were removed from the coins. And now there were new symbols on the coins with Arabic inscriptions. Arabic language things were written. Abdul Malik made a high visible contribution to the development of Arab Islamic identity. He also made the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. If you can see this. See, this is the Dome of the Rock. Who made this? Abdul, what was his name? Abdul?
Abdul Malik.
Abdul Malik.
He wanted to show that yes, in Jerusalem, now which religion is going to prevail?
Islamic religion.
Islamic religion. So just as a sign, as an indication that yes, now Jerusalem is under the control of Islam and the state religion is going to be Islamic religion, he made these. This is a huge place, if you can see. What is this called as? Read under the picture.
Dome of the Rock.
Dome of the Rock.
And where is it? At which place?
Over a rocky.
Rocky.
Jerusalem.
Which area, beta? Which country? Which place?
Ma'am, Jerusalem.
Yes, it is Jerusalem. Jerusalem basically belongs to whom? Which Jews? Whose place it is considered to be?
Christian.
Christians.
Yes, Christians. So it is believed so that now this person gave a very clear message that yes, now we are going to have not Christianity, they are going to have what? Islam as the state culture. Can you name this person? Can you name this person who made this? What was his name?
Abdul Malik.
Yes. Earlier on the coins, what did we have? Which culture, which tradition?
Islamic.
Before Islamic. Yes.
Greek.
Greek, I think, yes, very good. And later, when this person came to rule, what happened?
Islamic inscriptions started getting printed on the silver coins.
Yes, beta. So this person is actually motivating or establishing the Islamic culture. He is showing that yes, now this area is under the control of Islam culture. He is one of the successors of whom? Whose son, grandson, whose successor is he?
Maoris.
Yes. You remember who? Learn his name? Yes, he was from the Umayyad community. He was from the Umayyad community and Muawiyah.
Muawiyah.
Because he declared now, Muawiyah, that now we are going to have successors as hereditary successors. So this is it. Now please see this coinage reforms. Just see these points. Read this. Let us discuss. Though I've already done a bit about it. That now Arabian culture is there on the coin. Just see the coins. Read them. Let's discuss. Read beta.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did you observe? Yes, Bache, tell me, what did you observe? Now it's your turn to speak out. Bolo beta.
Ma'am, the first coin, it is showing the Emperor Heraclius and his two sons. And the second, it's a portrait.
Yes, beta. If you see the coins beta, you will see in the first coin, what is there? Byzantine gold solidus, dinars. They were called as dinars. These emperors are actually emperors of Byzantium. They're not Muslims, Christians. Okay, Hercules and his two sons, so they were Christians actually. So these were the earlier coins we had. Come to this gold dinar over here. This is made by Abdul Malik. His name is there and his photo is there over here. He has made his own photo on the gold coins dinars now. Earlier we had this Christian emperor Byzantine, his photo is there, his sons are there. And here now he had his own picture over here. If you see, his name is there and his image is there. Abd al-Malik. What was his name?
Abd al-Malik.
And this was one more which he made the coins, these coins. On this, it was written, there is no God but Allah and he has no partner. That means there is only one God. There can be no other God. So what is written on this? Kalima. Kalima, we say, what is written on this? There is no God but Allah and he has no partner. He has no partner means that there is no one equivalent to Allah. Is it okay, children? So this was a change in coins. Earlier, this was Byzantine coin, gold dinar, Christian king, and now these are the new patterns. Either he had his own photo or this was written. What was written on these coins? There is no God but
Allah, and he has no
Allah.
partner.
He has no partner. So we saw that now Umayyads have become very powerful. We are in a place of history where Umayyads are ruling, but they were also not ruling peacefully now. There is going to be a revolt, the Abbasid revolution. Which revolution?
Abbasid.
Yes. Now when Muslim polity is going on, the Umayyads, when they were trying to expand, they had to pay a very heavy price. What? Understand. There was a very well organized movement which was called as Dawa. Okay, a revolt. What was it called as?
Dawa.
Yes. Now this revolt brought down the Umayyads. The Umayyads were no more rulers now, and they were replaced with another family of the Mecca origin. There was another family from Mecca who started ruling, and they were the Abbasids. Who were they?
Abbasids.
So who defeated the Umayyads and took over?
Ma'am, the Abbasids.
Abbasids. And they also had come from which place?
Ma'am, the Meccan origin.
Yes, beta. They were defeated. They actually defeated. Whom did they defeat? The Abbasids. Whom did they defeat to become the ruler now?
Ma'am, the Umayyads.
Yes, beta. So we should remember this, that they have gone down now. They are not being ruled. And what was that revolt called as?
Dawa.
Yes, beta. It was called as Dawa. So this is it that we are having. The Abbasids, they now kept on ruling. They removed the Umayyads totally, and there was a change in the political structure of Islam. The Abbasids, they conquered the eastern Iran. They took a 20 days journey. They traveled for how many days?
20 days.
Yes, beta. Okay, on a horse, a very fast horse they had. They went from there to there. And Khurasan, he had an Arab Iranian population. They reached a place where half were Arabs and half were Iranians. There he reached. The Arab soldiers were mostly from Iraq, and they did not want the Syrians to live in that place. The Arabs, they did not want the Syrians to continue to live there. So all the Arabs, they disliked the Umayyads. Okay? Okay, why they disliked them? Because of tax concessions and privileges which were never fulfilled. The Umayyads promised them so many things, that we'll give you this, we'll give you that, but they never fulfilled the promises. So they did not like the Umayyads. If you talk about the Iranian Muslims, they were known as Mawalis. Iranian Muslims, what were they called?
Mawalis.
Yes. They were basically, they wanted to fight against the Umayyads. Basically, what I'm trying to say is most of the Muslims were now against the Umayyads because the Umayyads had promised them so many things, but they did not give them anything. Now that we talked about the Abbasids, they were descendants of Abbas. He was Prophet's uncle, Mamaji. Prophet Muhammad's uncle. He took the support of different groups, and then he said that I am a Masiha from the family of Prophet Muhammad. He said, I belong to Prophet Muhammad's family, so I should rule. He had his own army also, and he started defeating other people. And now he said that I will be the caliph, I will be the ruler, because I'm whose relative? I'm Prophet Muhammad's. So when Abbasids started ruling, the influence of Arabs became very less. The Abbads, they made their capital at Baghdad. Which city did they select as the capital?
Baghdad.
Baghdad. And then they became very powerful, very powerful. They had scholars, they made their own government, they made wonderful big buildings. And now Umayyads totally disappeared, and we had the rule of these people, which are known as Abbasids. Who were they?
Abbasids.
Please see this picture. This huge building, if you can see, look at the design. See what wonderful architecture is this. See, this is how it is going round and round and round. Just read about this building. This is a mosque. Who has built this mosque?
Mutawakkil.
Very good, Peter. Very good. You can just read, revise for a minute. That's it. The class is just about to get over a minute or so. Just see the building and read the details about it. Very good. See how beautiful this sculpture is. The Umayyads' power has finished and the Abbasids have taken over. Now they are making great buildings. The design of the building is very different. It is wonderful design. It's actually what? Is it a market? Is it a mosque? What is it?
And mosque.
Yes, it's a mosque. Okay. So we are leaving the chapter here where the last people who are ruling and making such big buildings are
Abbasids.
Abbasids. They are believed to be descendants of, who was their ancestor?
Ma'am, Prophet Muhammad.
Basically Prophet Muhammad, but Abbas. What was his name?
Abbas.
He was the maternal uncle of Muhammad, Mamaji, what we call. Abbas, he was the uncle of Muhammad. So he said that I should go. Okay, Anjali, let's meet tomorrow.
Yes.
God bless you, dear. Let's continue.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, bache. God bless. So, Snehal, Keshav, and Anushri, she has answered. Now, you people, sometime you were missing in the meeting. So, let me do this part again with you. The Abbasids have now taken over. Abbasids, basically, the ancestor was Abbas, and he was the uncle of Prophet Muhammad, Abbas. He claimed that he should take over because he is more close to Prophet Muhammad. And the earlier, the ones, the kings who were ruling, the people were not supporting them anymore now. We've already done the reason why they were not being supported. And the reason was they did not fulfill their promises.